Okay. Hey everybody. This is Big Lair. This is video number 8. This is for Sam's Peeps on Patreon and Discord. Let's see. I've got two big topics I want to talk about. My kids were kind of giving me a hard time about wearing a tank top today. I recently published a book. I don't know if I can mention it here because I don't want to make it sound like I'm advertising stuff, but I finished the book, and this is like the perfect color for this book I just finished. So I guess if you're interested in finding out about the book, send me a private message and then I'll let you know. Although there was somebody who asked me about the book already, and I said I would PM or have private message them when I had the link, and just this morning I got a message from Amazon saying my book is live on Amazon. So and that was just before I started making these videos, so I apologize to that person. As soon as I finish this video and the next one, I will send you a message with that link. Okay, so anyway, just kind of getting into character here a little bit, I guess. Two big things I want to talk about. The first one is something I mentioned a little bit. Let me just get some water here. I mentioned this in the Mickey's Psychic Meetup the last time. Yeah, and Samantha gave me some good advice. So I just wanted to talk about that a little bit, because that in the end led to a much bigger thing. I'm drinking water here today. Okay, so a number of years ago, I'm going to say about 23, 24 years ago, I was working at a place called Helzberg Diamonds. I don't know if I should say the name. What the heck. Anyway, and it was a very interesting job, working for like a retail diamond store, selling diamonds and jewelry, but they focused on selling diamonds, hence the name Helzberg Diamonds. And are they even around anymore? I'm not sure. I think they are, but anyway. And it was during this time that I realized I had this very interesting ability, and it was that if I could touch someone, or if someone touched me, it actually worked better. If they initiated the contact, like someone shaking my hand or someone putting their arm around me or whatever, I would get like this flash of video in my mind's eye, information about the person. And at this time, I believe I was the only guy working at this place, and it was all women. Maybe there were 17, 18 women at most, salespeople, office staff, whatnot. And it's funny, in those days there was no such thing as the Me Too movement, or I think sexual harassment was just an issue that was starting to be talked about. So, if you're the only guy working with a bunch of women, and if you're not too hard on the eyes, and if you're pretty nice, probably those women will put their arm around you once in a while, or touch you, whatever. And in those days it just seemed normal, right? So I realized that working with all these women, and maybe this feminine kind of psychic energy, women have really good intuition anyway, right? Men were kind of dumb when it comes to stuff, but women, they know stuff, So maybe that was part of it, having all of this feminine energy around me. And then, sometimes they would come up and put their arm around me and say, "Oh, Larry, you'll never believe what my boyfriend did last night. He said this or that, or, geez, I'm having a bad day," whatever, I think those of you who are near my age can probably relate to what I'm saying. No weirdness going on. It's just how people were in those days. People were more affectionate, more touchy-feely, I guess you could say. I do this air quote thing as a joke, by the way. Anyway, so I noticed that someone would do this, one of my coworkers, and then boom, 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 I'd have these videos playing in my head very quickly, and I would get insights into who they were. And that really helped me deal with these people a lot better. So anyway, and then I noticed as time went on, I would deal with customers, and for example, some guy buys a ring for his wife, and you're writing up the sale, and you're talking, and he says, "Oh, Larry, by the way, my name is John. Nice to meet you," and shakes your hand, and then I would shake the person's hand to be polite, of course, and then boom, I would get these videos, very quick videos in my head about this guy, like, "Oh, John, I didn't think he was that old. He's got grandkids, and he had this huge Christmas tree last year," and I would get just all kinds of different videos in my head about people. And I would test it out by, and this took me a while to test it out, but I would get these images, and then I would take something I saw in one of the images or the videos, and then I would try to steer the conversation to that topic to see if I could, get proof that what I had seen was actually from their life, and it got to be very accurate. And at times people would say, "Oh man, it's almost like you're reading my mind." So this was getting better. The ability was getting stronger and stronger, and I was kind of enjoying it. And then one day, this was right before Thanksgiving, and by this time I had gotten to where, you're in a shopping mall, and we had a corner store, and you'd have lots of customers walking by your store, and I could pick people out of the crowd and kind of focus on them and get those pictures or videos about their life. I didn't have to, shake their hand or anything. So I remember it was before Thanksgiving, and I'm standing in the crowd, and I see one guy, and for some reason he just stood out as being odd. So I focused in on him, and I could see he had murdered someone. And I was kind of like, "Oh!" And as soon as I saw this, and then in my mind I said, "Oh, he's a murderer." And the guy, as he's walking, stops and turns around and looks right at me, across all these people in the mall. And I was like, "Holy crap! He knows what I know." And I just played it real cool and acted like I was looking at other people in the crowd. I just kind of played it off, like, "Oh, we made eye contact, but there wasn't any reason for it." I tried to play it off like that. And then when I looked at enough other people, I looked back and he was gone, and I never saw the guy again. But that was kind of freaked me out, like, "Oh man, yeah, that makes sense. There are bad people, and why did the murderer happen to look back at me?" But Samantha mentioned on Mickey's psychic meetup that this guy most likely had negative entities, negative lower level entities attached to them, and they would have helped him recognize me. Okay. And where was I taking this story? Because I had a really nice segue for this story. Oh, let's see, I'm almost at the 10-minute mark. So I'll just add a little bit here, and then I'm going to jump to the next video to tie this one in. Now, through the years, I've toned down this being able to, someone touches me and I see things. One thing I've also noticed as part of this, and this one I quite enjoy, is that if I'm with someone and we can sit down and have a relaxing conversation, I know I need to be relaxed, and I'm a pretty good listener. I'm a pretty good listener because I'm a very curious person, and I love to ask questions and then just let people talk. You'll find out a lot about a person by what they say and how they say it and what they don't say, right? So I love to listen to people. And what I've noticed is that when I'm sitting down with someone and talking, and I need to kind of relax to do this, I will see their face change. And now I know what it is. At the beginning, I didn't know what it was. And I'm seeing the faces they had in previous lives. And the last time I did this, I was in Bangkok, Thailand. I've only been to Thailand twice. I found it to be a very sad country personally, very sad country. I won't get into why I think that, but I was there, sort of, a friend of my brother's said, hey, it was a, friend of my brother said, I've got a friend in Thailand, and you should meet this guy. You're both martial artists, blah blah blah. So that was the scenario. That was a whole big fiasco in itself, and makes for a pretty awesome story, but it's nothing to do with what we're talking about, so I won't say anything more about it. However, I'm in Bangkok, Thailand with this very high level martial artist who's kind of a nut job, in my opinion. And although he had some extenuating circumstances to put him in that situation. Anyway, so I'm there, and I actually had some interesting things happen. Oh, don't let me get off topic. Okay, so I'm in Thailand with this guy, and I help him get his girlfriend back. I won't go into that. That's also a good woo-woo story. But so we're sitting at this restaurant in Bangkok with this crazy martial artist, his love interest, and her son. So she's got a kid, but she's divorced, and we're sitting there, and I'm just relaxing, listening to their conversation. Kind of awkward because this guy was a jerk to her, and now he wants to get back to her, and he's nothing special to look at, but she's quite a beautiful woman, this French woman. And I normally don't get along with French people, but I got along with her, so that was nice. Anyway, and I kept calling her by the wrong name. Since the moment I met her, I was introduced to her, I kept calling her by the wrong name, and I thought, man, that's not like me to do that. So we're sitting there at dinner, and I look at her face, and then I see this past life, the whole thing plays before my eyes like a movie. And here she was a nurse during World War II, and I could see all these things she had done. And then I saw in this movie someone called out her name in that past life, and it was the name I kept saying. And I thought, wow, for some reason I was preloaded with that information before I met her. And then I said to her, aha, I know why I'm calling you by your wrong name this evening. And I told her the story, and I told her about what country I thought she was in Europe during the war, and this and that. And she actually had dreams about doing that, but she always wondered where those dreams came from. So maybe I kind of gave her some closure on that. Anyway, so that was the last thing I wanted to say about this, being able to, shake hands with someone or whatnot and get information. But yeah, I've been able to look at people and see how their faces looked in a past life. And in this one episode in Thailand a couple years ago, I was able to actually tap into her previous life and watch it like a movie. That was pretty fantastic, I think. Okay, I'm close to the 15-minute mark as far as my watch goes. I will stop here. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll do the next video. The next video is going to be about reptilians. Okay, reptilians. Oh, hey, and as one of my favorite German YouTubers says, smash up the like button. Not that I want you to, but I just always wanted to say, smash up the like button. Okay, see you in the next video.